Hey, it's Mr. Milleman, and I'm back to talk to you about natural selection. Natural selection is where we're going to find how species change. Well, what makes them change? Well, we've got to think about a number of different things. We all know that there's different kind of people out there. We got tall people, we got short people, we got thin people, we got wide people, we got people with all kinds of different skin colors and eye colors and hair colors. Why are they all so different? Well, that's a really good question. And why aren't they looking exactly like their parents? Do they change over time? Well, that could be. In our body, we've got genes, and these genes help us determine who we are and what we're going to be. And just like us, animals, plants, and all other living creatures have the same genetic situation. They'll change. Well, let me give you an example. Well, think about the African plains. Out on the African plains, we've got hunters and we've got prey. Well, if the hunters, let's talk about a cheetah. If the cheetah has long legs, you know he's going to catch a lot of gazelles. And if he eats a lot of gazelles, he's going to be able to live a long life. And if he lives a long life, he's going to have the opportunities to produce a lot of babies. Living a long life, being able to produce a lot of offspring, well, that's the definition of having a fit design, having a design that will last a long time. Well, now let's look at his cousin, the short-legged cheetah. You know, the guy who doesn't run very fast. Well, how's that going to work out for him? Probably not very well. Well, if he's got the short legs, he's probably not going to run very fast. He's probably not going to catch a whole lot of gazelles, and he's probably not going to live a very long life. Well, if he can't live a long life, he's probably not going to have a lot of offspring. Well, what would those offspring look like? The short-legged cheetah is probably going to have a lot of offspring that are going to have short legs. The long-legged cheetah is going to have a lot of offspring that have long legs. And a shorter lifespan means less babies that you're going to be able to produce, and less offspring that are like you means that most of the creatures out there are going to end up being a little different than you. And if they have a better body type, a better body fit, they have more fitness, then survival of the fittest tells us that the long-legged cheetahs are going to live longer and produce more. And so that's going to be the best body type out there on the African plains. Now, just like Darwin's finches, you know, the finches on the Galapagos Islands, that he went around from island to island and he saw that very similar looking birds had rather different beaks. Well, he noticed that on the islands where there were a lot of bugs, that the birds with the long skinny beaks did well. And he noticed it on the islands where there were lots of big nuts, that the birds with the big strong beaks did well. Well, once again, same type of situation in which you've got one species that was fit for his environment and did very well in that environment. Now, do you think the birds with the skinny beaks said, you know what? I would rather be a nut-eating bird, and I would like to have a big beak, and so I'm going to grow my beak bigger? Probably not. Yeah, that probably isn't the way it happened. Instead, the birds with the skinny beaks on the islands where there were a lot of nuts and not so many bugs, well, they probably didn't do so well. They didn't have the right body type. They weren't very fit, and so therefore they weren't able to live a long life and produce a lot of offspring. So where do these birds come from? The ones with the big beaks to crush nuts or the skinny beaks to eat bugs? Well, they're in the genes. The genes change over time, and the genes will come out. Just like we see a family of people. They might have one kid who's tall and one kid who's not so tall, and maybe one with one color hair and one with a different color hair, and they look kind of different. Well, it's because of the genes. Those inherited traits within our bodies, they're passed on from generation to generation. And your parents can pass on one type of gene to you and one type of gene to your brothers and sisters. So that's what makes you different. Same thing happens for the birds on the Galapagos Islands. Today, the big-beaked birds, they could have skinny-beaked babies. And those babies probably won't do very well. But that's part of natural selection, in which they're going to do well in their environment or they're not. Now, this leads us to a really big question that a lot of scientists are asking. Is this evolution? Is one species making a small change to be more successful the evolving of that species into something completely different. Well, I don't know about that, and scientists have been looking for those links from one species to another to show, yes, one species has changed tremendously to become a whole new species. Well, they haven't found it yet, and I don't know if they're going to, but it's something to consider. And your job as a scientist is to make your own decision, to look at all the research, to look at all the information, to study it, and to make your own informed decision. Don't let anybody else make your decision for you. You think about it, and you decide what you think is the right thing.